Good afternoon, everyone. Here again, we are with Miss Oressa Power. She is the Education Technology Coordinator at William James College. We have also Dr. Douglas with us. She's the CEO of the Lion Heart International Consulting. And also she's leading the DAO podcast on Unregulated Leadership today. So we are very pleased to have you, Miss Power, with us for this once again session about AI and education. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being present with us today. I know you're very busy with your schedule, and we are very honored to have you today with us. Dr. Douglas?
Yeah, so we like to talk about things that are happening in the world and the daily trends and stuff, and so the updated conversation. So we really just wanted to pick your brain and have some conversation with you, and maybe we can teach some people a thing or two. So yes. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Happy to be here. And it's definitely, yeah, very front of mind right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
happy to help whoever I can.
Yeah, so as a student doing a practicum with unregulated leadership, we are very curious about AI because we know it's one of the trend, and also it's probably one of your niche because as an education technology coordinator at William James College since 2022, you are I think you did some studies at UMass Amherst, and here you are serving this community still. So I feel like you are the right person to interview. So my first question is about how did you get there? How did you get in the world of AI? And what does that mean to you to serve?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I went to graduate school at Boston College, and a big tenet of their um, Jesuit educational framework is serving. So I think honestly, like I kind of fell into AI by accident, just serving the needs of the school community. It's right. There's been this AI boom for generative AI tools, and everybody is, all frazzled about what to do about it. And so I've always been interested in educational media and educational technology. So it just was trying to learn, trying to see what can be done, trying to see what conversations need to happen, what kind of policies we need. Like I just got together a committee of support staff and faculty representatives from around the college to form a committee on AI. So, just what needs to happen in our community to react to this and to start having conversations between faculty and students about using AI.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know, yes, I know that AI might be intimidated for some. So we are going to open, this conversation to all our viewers and listeners, right? We are on unregulated leadership. So we want this conversation to be approachable for everyone. So some question will be less technical than others, right? So I was talking to my son. He's 19. And I was like, okay, I'm doing a podcast about AI education. What are the questions that you may have in mind on my, and he said, oh, mommy, I want to ask them about like machine learning and AI. For him, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. The machine learning is like a robot. So you just have built that machine to just give you what you want. And then he told me that AI might be something more sophisticated, more innovative, more creative. Do you feel like there's a difference between the machine learning and AI per se?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I think what people are mostly talking about right now in education is generative AI. So like ChatGPT and Gemini, and Copilot and stuff. These are chatbots that use generative AI. So conceptually they're generating original content
Yeah.
versus other types of AI that are following, pathways of an input and an output on a certain level. So most of the conversations about AI in the past have been like, is it that similar to how, a human thinks? Because at a certain point, they're still following an input-output structure that was created by people, where this is a little bit more advanced in like a
Sophisticated.
originality scope and a sophisticated, exactly. But AI is right, like you mentioned, you had a conversation with someone who was studying AI over a decade ago. This is, it's not, AI isn't a new thing, machine learning isn't a new thing. There's AI in your Maps app, in
Yeah.
Face ID, in social media, in getting you the content you want. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But ultimately we're focusing on generative AI now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
hope, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I remember this conversation. I was very
Mm.
intimidated because that person is a guru. It's like one of the fun. Yeah, I was like, okay. So I'm glad that we have this conversation that can clarify a lot of questions. And the conversation was so intense. And I feel like,
Mm.
okay, so that's
Mm.
why we think we are doing the second series right now, because we are all in the education business. I'm a student, Dr. Douglas just graduated. You are working with Liam James College. So I think it's great for a prospect of learning to see exactly how AI can, what AI is bringing to the table when we think about like education, right?
Yeah,
So yes,
right,
I'm familiar
right.
with ChatGPT. I didn't know about Gemini. And you said another one. What is that? We are getting
Microsoft Copilot is just Microsoft's right
yes.
version of
Version.
this. And they
So
kind of
So,
all have different strengths, which is
yeah.
interesting. I think also Gemini used to be called Bard, so that might be why you hadn't
Okay.
heard of it.
Okay.
so I
But
have a
Okay.
question because you mentioned like you all started like a committee, right, with the some of the
mhm.
administrators that to
Yeah.
kind of like I guess I don't know, but is this something that was before it like came out? Is this something that was like on the radar before it like went global? Is it something that y'all were prepared for or prepped for, or is it something that like came out and y'all was like, well, we gotta do something about it, or were y'all already having conversations and
Right.
then you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good question. I think personally I was aware of it. Just probably be my family is really into technology and stuff, and we're all a bunch of geeks. My husband's a software engineer. My brother's a software engineer. We're interested in this stuff, so I don't know how much the in general educators have been paying attention to this, but I think honestly, during the early pandemic where the whole education sphere was where we all had to go online, emergency online learning. We're questioning the practices that have been tried and true for a long time, and just, okay, all of a sudden now we need to be integrating technology in a way we never have before. And it forced a lot of these conversations and reflection on what is the place of technology in the classroom, in educational environments, et cetera, in the learning experience. So I think that did make AI on some people's radar, maybe more than it would have. And then, of course, ChatGPT coming out, and then all these other tools that maybe came out a little hastily to just compete in the market, have made us pay attention more. But I wouldn't say we were particularly prepared for it, because honestly, even now, like it's been a year or so since this has kind of exploded, and the reactions still aren't very good. I go to workshops about this kind of stuff all the time, and we're still scrambling to have a good reaction to academic honesty policies and how to integrate these things. There's a huge difference between the potential of these tools and what we have within arm's reach right now. And we're still catching up on fixing a lot of practices that we know are bad in education that have been persisting for decades and decades, despite the impact that the pandemic had on learning and technology. So
Mhm. Okay.
sometimes it's a bit of a free-for-all.
Mhm.
Yes. So I'm really interested about like your work at like practical. I'm very pragmatic, so I know you have a role, an important role at WJC. So, and I'm seeing that, okay, AI is there. So all AI can revolutionize the traditional educational system. In my mind, is it like we still operating with, is it that you're still operating with the traditional system, or do you have some rooms to integrate AI in your work? I'm just curious because we don't know. And it's so new.
Mm.
It's new and it's not new, right? Because
Right,
it's new
right,
because like we are trying to implement, but it's not new because the conversation, the work, the concept were already there way before.
right, right. Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
so in that instance, can I ask you, I'm curious to know if you have the chance to utilize any tools, any AI tools, or really not really? Is it that you're still working with the same educational, concept like or computer, planning, Microsoft Excel, whatever? Or do you have the chance to implement AI in your work right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely do. For like when I'm writing my newsletter or planning workshops and stuff, I definitely use AI tools.
Mhm.
I use one tool called Elicit, which helps me with research. You ask it a research question, it helps you try to find articles, which has saved me a lot of time.
Yes,
I love that one. And
yes,
I use ChatGPT and
yeah,
Gemini a
yes,
lot for generating outlines for stuff,
yes,
Grammarly, refining my emails, stuff like
yeah.
that.
Okay.
And that's also what I encourage faculty to do
Yeah.
as well, because it gets them more comfortable with these tools, and then they
Mhm.
can better have conversations with students about it in their classrooms, and also understand better when a student is using ChatGPT, and then they have to have a conversation about this is appropriate use, this is not appropriate use, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done a workshop for faculty, two workshops for faculty. I'm planning on doing one for students, because it seems that some students don't know what's appropriate use and their faculty don't talk to them about it, and
Exactly.
etc. Um,
Exactly.
the
You
work,
see?
yeah, so it permeates everything. It's definitely a big topic this semester.
So thank you for being so open, right? Thank you for being so open and share with us not only the tools that you're using, the tools that you're using, and also is it okay? Because that's the question that we have as students. Is it
Mm.
okay? Because yesterday, not so long that yesterday, a friend of mine, we were discussing about, okay, outline on ChatGPT. How can we apply that? Is it ethical to do? So I'm glad that you're able to discuss about that, and probably the school can have a panel of discussion with students about that, or to use it ethically and efficiently, because it saves a lot of time and the resources are there, right? So instead of like taking long to find some sources for literature review, I can just plug my topic and I have a ton. Isn't that
Yeah,
miracle? It's miracle. So I really love it. But the problem is, how we can use it ethically and efficiently. Can you talk more
absolutely.
about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of messages in the media about how students are using AI and teachers are afraid they don't understand it. But I also think that we don't talk about how students are also wary about AI. They're worried about their jobs. They're worried about the future. They're worried about, AI will get bigger and bigger. They're going to need certain competencies to be able to work with AI, keeping up in the marketplace. Um, so I think part of approaching this ethically is having conversations with students about it on like an academic honesty level, and also just exploration in general, improve the competency and explore like, AI has certain strengths, but the media doesn't talk about how it has a lot of weaknesses, and it is getting better, but certain
Mhm.
tools are better at certain things, and it's not like students can really just um, put in an essay prompt and they get a perfect essay back. Like it does a lot, it cannot recreate the creativity of the student mind and the student voice and stuff. And often it's as simple as having students write a paragraph and then having ChatGPT do the same thing and comparing it. I've heard students describe,
Wow.
have their reaction to that. They feel it's perverse, they feel like their voice is being taken away from them. They're kind of horrified. by that. So the downsides of AI have to be considered with the strengths in order to use it ethically and sustainably. And again, I really think it's all about just having a conversation with students. And at William James, we do have a basic policy that will probably get expanded, but at this time, it's really up to the faculty for how much is okay. So it's important for faculty to play with this, to see what's okay, what's ethical for their classroom, and then also maybe be introspective and be like, okay, like, yes, crafting questions that aren't just something you could Google really easily or something you could put into ChatGPT really easily, like, who is the father of psychology, something like that, trying to reach higher order thinking skills, but also think about if faculty are writing, I mean, not faculty, if students are writing a paper, maybe it's okay that they're not spending a third of their time on working on grammar or a third of their time looking for research articles. Maybe they can use an AI tool for that and then focus on synthesizing their thoughts, stuff from class, central readings, etc.
Yeah, that's great feedback. That's
Yeah,
great.
and I think when especially for professors, because it's when you're scared of something, you don't know how to engage with it, right? It's like when the internet came out and people was like, no, well, the
Right,
internet's not going
exactly.
away, right? AI is not going
Exactly.
away. And so it's like embrace it. Like,
Exactly.
so when you say play with it, see how it works, see how it works for you, see how it doesn't work for you. And so then you have an experience to then be able to share with your students to say, use it like this. Because there's some people that are great. They're like, they should be English professors. And there's some of us that, we need spell check and we need Grammarly, we need all those things. And because I'm it. Okay. And so to be able to put your paragraph and say check for grammar, and then it gives you the punctuation in seconds, it's like, this is beautiful. But I think the integrity also goes back to the character of the person, right? And you only get out of things what you put in it. And so if a student is going to use it to do all the work, well, when you get into the real world, you've only hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we can
Yeah,
only control but so much of this because it's going to fall back on the person. And so if you go to an interview and you create
100%.
this whole fake resume, they start asking questions.
Yeah.
They go,
And
this is not
yeah.
real, So
100%. Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's where policies came to play, when we think about, oh, okay. And I thought that at residency this summer, this semester, Dr. Devlin talked about it, like really there will be some no implementation because easily I see AI like a double sword, like on one side it's great, on the other side, if you misuse it, it could just hurt. Yeah. So
Right.
obviously there's some education and policies that needs to be established for all of us, not only for students, but for all users. Because I feel like it's gonna be huge, a huge things. And it seems that there's many career avenues with AI going onto the market right now,
Oh,
right?
totally. Yeah, the potential is huge. Absolutely. And I know
Mhm,
that there are some really valid concerns around the ethics of going, full force, bringing AI into the classroom right now. Of course, that can happen to different degrees.
mhm,
But worried about students losing certain important competencies like
mhm,
crafting an essay. If you're just having ChatGPT
mhm,
generate an outline every time, these are important competencies that students need to
mhm,
build.
mhm,
But I also, I think that just because, right, we're using computers now, right? Just because you
mhm,
type doesn't mean you can't write anymore.
Mm.
And you need to be able to build the competency of working with
mhm,
AI, asking it the right questions and stuff. So, right, those new competencies that they need to build. And yes, some of the old competencies, but again, thinking critically and reflecting on our teaching of what's important to maintain and what do I
mhm,
need to do to my classroom environment to make sure that students are building those competencies, whether it's, having
mhm,
certain activities happen in the classroom so they can't cheat or something, or having group projects so they're working on communication and, you know, it depends
yeah.
on the situation, but
Okay. Yeah, you see, it's so engaging that we almost lost track of time. We
I
can
think the
we can
beach in the
spend
background's helping
and hours
too.
talking, but so grateful that we're able to at least get like the essence of what AI is. I think for all those the viewers and the listeners, what it is about, it's really a great tool and it has great potential, but we need to be mindful of or use it for the good. And I think you said it clearly, Miss Power, that um, the humanness of brilliance will not go away with AI, hopefully, because we need that touch, we need that human touch. So we are hopeful, even if AI will take many places, many spots, I will say, that they will still need us as human because we are the tanker of everything, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's where the heart is. It's the same thing as when we went online, during the early pandemic. It's like Zoom and stuff brought us together, but also made people, there's a lot more stay at home. You have to put effort in to make sure that, people are connected, community is at the center of things, humans are at the center of things, and right, we can do a whole lot of things that
Yeah.
computers can't do. So it's too big, it's too helpful to
Okay.
ignore. AI is going to do so much for so many industries, but right, exactly as you said, we have to proceed with caution and be
Okay.
positive, but also be sensitive.
Yeah, this is a very hopeful note that you ending with. But before you left us, we always ask, you know, these questions about what makes you an unregulated leader. What is it that you think that makes you an unregulated leader?
I think, I think one of you said that earlier is just, leadership is everywhere, right? So just being
Mhm.
willing. Sometimes I call it the reluctant leader. It's about, you know, I think it's really important to lift up other voices and listen and just, try to empathize. And sometimes sometimes someone who's really willing to take charge of a project or something. But when there's a lull in that initiative, I think that's, you know, the opportunity for leadership attributes to shine. Just being willing to take charge when it's needed and I think a lot about accessibility and access for all. And, you try to think about where barriers are to participation. I think that's true leadership. Thinking about the crowd, thinking about the community, thinking about what you can do to give back because,
Mhm.
ultimately it's gonna come back to you. I know by trying to give my 2 cents to people about AI and help them explore it and stuff is going to help the William James community, and it will just,
Mhm.
make us stronger together. So
Yeah, thank you so much. One thing that I discovered, you're very human, even if you're doing the technology thing. I feel like your humanness is great.
thanks.
I'm
I'm
so
glad I
glad
haven't been
to
taken
have,
over the dark side yet.
yes, we are so pleased to have you today. And thank you so much for taking time to have this conversation with us. Dr. Douglas?
My
No, we
pleasure.
totally appreciate it. I think, you said one thing is it's about helping other people. And as a leader, it's not about us. It's always about the other person. So even in this space of like we say, leaders are everywhere. And so being in the space and being in the forefront and being in the space where having the conversations where people are going to be uncomfortable and still saying, I'm going to show up and engage you in conversation anyway. Still going to tell you I'm going to tell you the positive. I'm going to tell you the things that might not be so great. You figure out for yourself, but I'm going to give you the information, even though you might not be comfortable with it. So, so we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing this with us. It's like a team, right? It's like a quick, like
Of
but it's useful and helpful information, even the different tools that you mentioned today that I didn't even know about.
Yes.
Because we want to sometimes we spend so much time looking up things that if we just got the information and then like took time actually dissecting the information as opposed to taking hours to find it and then taking hours to dissect it, like we manage our time better, we can still be more effective. But again, that character and that integrity is what is internal with the person. So we can't always control that. But we
Absolutely.
appreciate you taking the time to come share with us and talk to us. And hopefully we'll
Yes.
see you on the ground one day at the
Actually,
Yeah.
convention.
Yes, exactly. You
Yeah.
need to be there, residency. You need to, yes. So we're gonna work on that. I think you will be great. You will be great sharing, and
Yeah.
probably you talking more about what AI is about, really, for the
Mhm.
students to use it. Because I really think that the students wants to use AI efficiently, ethically, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
probably they don't know. So
Mhm.
having this discussion might be a breeze for them to know exactly how to go with it. So thank you so much.
absolutely. Oh, my
Thank you.
pleasure. Yeah, and anytime, happy to
Yeah.
visit any of the in-person or online activities. And then that's why I'm having that student workshop upcoming soon. Yeah, and I
Mhm.
really appreciate it. It's so great to have these conversations, and
Yeah.
it's all about collaboration. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Take
All right.
care.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Have a great weekend.
Yes.
You
Thank you.
too.
Thank you everyone for being with us. That's the end for today.
Thank you.